Welcome everybody and goblins to 1 hour of miniature goodness. Today we are doing our Wizkids miniatures, and we have the Trebuchet and we have the Ballista, siege engines for your mighty empires. Let me show you these miniatures a little bit closer. These are the Wizkids ones. What I've done is I've gone ahead and put on the wood stained brown to start us off, or as we'll be there all night long just adding the brown to these miniatures. So it's a very simple. Thank you for subscribing, Corey. And that's 12 months for you now, isn't it? Yep, well done. 12-month subscriber. I have been doing I've been doing Twitch 12 months, and Corey has subscribed to me for 12 months, so thank you so much. That is amazing. 1 year. Woof, that's gone fast. 1 year. Okay. Thank you so much, Corey. Okay, this is the Trebuchet. I think I'm saying that correctly. You don't pronounce the T on the end, do you? Absolutely beaster. But we're going to be painting that quickly up today. And of course we got the Ballista as well. Yes, lots of very loyal goblins in chat. Let me say hello to you all anyway. I know Scorpla's up there. The Goblin Emperor, my dad, is in the house. We got Gareth's in the house. The Star Wars man. Michelle's in the house. Carlos is in the house. The Bull GM. Rod's in the house. And Music's Touch. Hello. So you're all there. All the goblins are there. Awesome to see you all. Now, doing these trebuchets is very, very simple. It's wood. I love painting wood. Now let me just show you again how closer up this miniature. I think you can just see it. Now there's lots of little metal parts on this miniature, but what we need to do is get all the wood parts done before we paint any of the rest, because we can make a complete mess with our dry brushing and get the paint on, and then we can go over the metal parts later on. Now as you can see with this miniature, you got this weight balance at the front there. Now that is a nightmare to get to. You can see that's almost impossible. So with this miniature, on these two ropes here, there's two joints on the ropes. What you do is you just snip one of the ropes, because you can glue it back on later, and what will happen then is you'll be able to push this through. So you just push it with your thumb, which means you'll be able to paint it perfectly well. So all you do, if you want to get to this part to paint, is just snip this piece of rope here, and that'll give you access, and you'll be able to push this forward and bend the plastic to paint it. Otherwise you're going to be really struggling to get inside that part of the miniature. And yes, I am so moist today. I am dripping with sweat. It's nightmarish. I've actually had a nice shave today. I don't look a day over 50, do I? Look at that. Okay, paints that we're going to use today. For our wood, we got some lovely driftwood brown by MSP, and we've got some desert sand. That's all we need for our colours for the wood effects. And of course we're going to be using some brown ink wash, so we can blend all that into our wood and make it look all more ancient. So let's get some paint on the palette. Hello, Philippe. Philippe, I never asked if you were streaming after me today. Are you streaming after me today, or are you still looking after your son? I hope he's feeling a little bit better. Philippe's son has got chicken pox at the minute. We've all had chicken pox. We all know how itchy and horrible it is. Yeah, okay, that's okay, Philip. Sorry, I forgot to ask you earlier, so I apologise. Not a problem. I think what we'll do is we'll add a little bit of dragon white to my palette as well. Good, good. I remember when I had chicken pox as a kid. Oh, it's so itchy. You just wanna pick off all the little scabby bits, don't you? And I remember, I think my mum or my dad they would have been telling me off, telling me not to pick pick the scabby bits. Because I think if you have chicken pox and you pick off the scabby bits, it leaves little holes over your body, and that's what my mum and dad told me anyway. So it scared me to death not to pick off the chicken pox or whatever it was. Right, okay, let's get started, shall we? Right, what we're doing is we get wood first. So I've just got my tissue here, a nice big brush. That is why they are called pock marks, isn't it? Pock marks. Ah. Hello, Tal, and no, we're not launching a goblin. Thank you, Jarrett. Terrain minis. So just quickly going over all the wood areas, making sure that the edge of the wood gets most of the paint. It's a very simple paint doing wood. So we just go over it quickly. And because it's such a hot day today in Scotland, I should be able to add some ink wash, get that dry, and we can move on to something else as well. Now this is a great little miniature set from Wizkids games. Now I am absolutely sweating like a little baby piggy tonight, so my fingers are a little bit slippery. So what we do, we just add this colour first, and we just go over all the wood areas. And it doesn't matter about going over the metal areas, because of course we're going to be painting them afterwards. This is why we do all the wood first, and once that wood's done, we can add all the metal and the rest of the parts that need doing on this miniature. The hardest part about this miniature is you've got all these bits inside, and it is a sealed miniature. It's already glued together, so you really got to try and work your way around certain parts of the miniature. Let me get, sorry about that, there we are. So like I said, if you snip this part of the rope just here, that'll give you access to push this part of the miniature down with your thumb, and in theory we should be able to, there you go, and we can get in there with our brush and just get some paint on in there. Now we don't need too much. That dark brown has already given us a nice back to the wood. We don't have to do all the main parts inside, because leaving it dark inside actually gives us a nice darker shade inside of the trebuchet. Right, as long as we get the edging done on the wood, and this is the heaviest part, and then we'll move on with the lightest part. Let's get a little finger in there. Now it is plastic, so don't worry about if you do break any parts pushing this out, because a little bit of super glue and it'll be back together. But as you can see, it's bending quite nicely to get this part out so we can get some paint on the wood areas. It's already starting to look fab just by adding that one colour, by using that dark brown. And this is the paint I'm using. It's called Driftwood Brown. So if you want to check that one out, that's on the old Reaper Miniatures website. That will be Driftwood Brown. It's absolutely fantastic, and it just works perfect. So you've got your wood stain brown, Driftwood Brown, two perfect colours, and they work together so well. When I get my Reaper Miniatures boats, which won't be long, they will be my two main colours that I'll be using for painting my wood effects for those boats. It really is fantastic colours, and they work in airbrushes as well, so you can add some Veleco thinner to these paints, and they will work perfectly well for your airbrush, because I use them all the time for my airbrush too, so not a problem at all. Okay, so that's just about done for that first coat. We'll quickly go on to the Ballista and add the same brown. I want to give a shout out to Gareth, by the way. Gareth, the Star Wars man. He did a stream. Actually, it was this morning. I was watching Gareth's stream at 3:30 a.m. in the morning. Absolutely crazy. I've never actually used a wet palette. In Scotland, it's really, the weather is quite cold, so I've never really had the need to use a wet palette. But he showed me on his stream how to set up the wet palette and how he uses the wet palette, so I want to thank him for showing me that, because it just proves that even at my age I can learn new things about painting, and I really do enjoy learning things and finding out new ways to paint. He showed me the wet palette that he's got from my Army Painter, and absolutely fantastic. Which I still haven't used, by the way. Even though he showed me how to use. Everybody's up at 3:30 a.m. in the morning painting. It's, to be honest, I will be honest with you, I do have a bit of a sleeping problem with like insomnia and stuff, and I've been like it for many years. I mean, my dad will tell you. But what it is, I find, if you are painting your miniatures, you cannot find a better time of day than like between 3 and 6 o'clock in the morning, because the house is quiet, the cats are asleep, the dogs are asleep. You got the house to yourself. You can make yourself a nice coffee, and you can raid the Maltesers and the cookie jar. I mean, Claire's not going to wake up and tell me off for eating cookies, so you can just have a great time and enjoy yourself while everybody's asleep. So as you can see, just by adding this one little brown coat so far, it's already dramatically changed that wood and given some really nice effects to the wood. It's that simple. Now, we don't need to go over the top, but what I need to do now is I need to add some more highlights to that wood for my own personal pleasure. So we're going now into, what colour was this one again? We're going to desert sand, and we are mixing that onto my tissue with the what did I call it again? Driftwood. Oh goodness me, driftwood. Driftwood, and we're just making it a little bit lighter. And again, we're going on to the highest areas of the wood, and we're just picking out the edges now. So we're going up more lightly, and now we're just picking out the edges of the wood. The dark brown is doing the work for us, but what we want to do is just make it look a bit more worn. So we're just going around the edges of everything, and that will just make it look ancient, worn, used wood. Absolutely gorgeous. Painting natural things like rocks, wood, trees, definitely my favourite things. I just love all that type of stuff. Might sound a bit boring. Oh, Mikey enjoys painting stones. What a weirdo. But you can't beat painting a really good stone and making it look like a stone. Is my dad telling me to super glue my lips? Hey, how cool is it when you got your dad watching your streams, eh? I mean, goodness gracious, I'm 50 years old and my dad is still supporting me and watching my streams. I mean, I think my mum's probably behind him watching as well. But how cool is that, eh? I mean, how awesome is that? Okay, so this is coming on really, really nicely, and look how fast it's changed. I mean, already it actually looks nice and old now. I'm really happy with that. It looks gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Super fast and easy, and you've got that lovely looking wood now. Beautiful. Right, let's get this one done, the Ballista. Again, we're just trying to do the edge highlights. So it's just adding a light touch to the whole of the wooden areas. And we're just picking out the parts of the wood. And I'm using a huge brush, that's how easy it is. We've just got a big brush, we're just going over all the main parts of the wood, just making it leave an edge mark on all the parts of the wood, especially around the bottom. Look, if we go around the bottom here and just go around, this will really make that wood look worn. And then of course, I think you all know what will be coming next. A little bit of green. A little bit of green, just to add a little bit of mould to the bottom of the wood. Nothing like a little bit of moss. A little bit of moss effect, just to add a bit of goodness to all the wood parts of your miniatures. There we are. As simple as that. So that's all that wood done. All we need to do now is I'm going to add a little bit of green, just a tiny bit of green. We got some. What we got here? There we are. Mossy green. The perfect name for the perfect colour. Mossy green. Now these minis should be released on the website by Wizkids Games now. I think it was in July these are released. These are new sculpts to Wizkids. Now with the green, I am mixing it in with the brown as well. We don't want it too bright. Now all I'm doing with the green is adding it directly to the bottom, and it's only the hint of green. A hint of green. Just a tiny bit. That's all we need. It will just age that bottom and make it look like it's been in the grass. You know, it's been plonked down on there, and you've got a little bit of green going up. And it just adds a little bit more flavour to it. You don't need it all the way up, but just around the bottom. This gives us a nice worn look. A tiny, tiny, tiny bit. There you go. You don't need a lot. A tiny bit going up there. A little bit there. There we are. And that's our green. You might not see it too well in this camera, but it just makes so much difference adding a tiny bit of green to the bottom of your models. I do it with all my villages and houses. You've probably seen that in my other videos. But it really does make a difference just by adding a tiny little bit of green to the bottom of your bases. You can also highlight as well with a bit of Agrax Earth Shade, a little bit of brown. I was going to add some Agrax Earth Shade to these miniatures, but I'm not going to add it at the moment because I think that looks absolutely fab like it is. So what we'll do is we'll carry on with the rest of the miniature, and if I feel like I need to add some Agrax Earth Shade to this miniature, I will. But at the minute, because we've used that lovely dark brown, you can actually, all the detail is actually popping out through the dry brushing that we've done. Yes, it's very cool that my parents have always supported everything I've done. We have had our arguments, we have had our troubles, like all families. That's a normal part of life, but we all are still a family, and to be honest, that's quite difficult nowadays. That is quite difficult nowadays, to actually stay and stick around with your family. You haven't painted a Wizkids mini yet, Gerald? Oh, I'm going to have to sort that out for you then. I'll send you a couple of Wizkids minis to paint, okay? Right, let's go and start with... Now we start on the metal areas. As you can see, we've got these little wheels here and all the little bars. So what I've got here is I've got some Vallejo. This is the Vallejo Air silver, and I think it's just fab. It's very liquidy. Liquidy? I think that's the word. Very runny. It's very runny, you know. But it gives us a fantastic covering for what we need. So we'll just put a little bit on the palette there. And we'll just take a small brush. What shall we go for? We'll go for a little 0 brush. We'll go for a 0 brush. And what we can do is we can just go over all the metal areas quite quickly. Once the silver is dried, all we do then is we go over... Oh, my hands are shaking, 1 second. There we go, get a grip. Yeah, perfect. What we do is, once the silver has dried, we just go over the silver with a nice black nun oil. Vallejo make a nice nun oil as well, or should I say a black ink wash. Let me get this out of the way. Let me just move these. Put my elbows into the paint before I know it. So all I'm doing is I'm just going over all the areas that I've got metal joints. Quick, nice and fast and simple. So we're just using silver for all these parts here. Just quickly go around here. So same here. Whoop. So that's those bits done there. And we're just looking for all the metal parts holding this this trebuchet together. There's another piece here. But yes, awesome little miniature. It's not actually not a little miniature. It will make a fantastic centerpiece for your battles. Now, I don't know if Nath is in chat. Is Nath in chat? Nath is what I call an historian miniature painter. He loves the actual real historian type miniatures. So this would probably really appeal to anybody that's into this type of miniature. You could probably, I'm not sure if this would be accurate 100% to, you know, a historic siege engine, but to me, I think it looks very real to me. But I'm sure if Nath is in chat, I don't think he is, but if he was in chat, he'd be able to say, yes, that is 100% accurate to what they used to use. Okay, Gerald, you do that. If you don't want me to send you one of my painted Wizkids miniatures, that's fine. He's like, no! No! Okay. Right, let's get to that main part inside. Right, see that long piece of metal there? We'll just try and oh, there's Nath now. Look, I was just talking about Nath. I don't know if he's been on long enough to know about the questions I was asking him. Oh, talking of miniatures, if my goblins on a painted tier want to type in, give me a free mini, Claire will put you onto the wheel of pain to see who gets a mini tonight. Thank you for subscribing, Nath. Now, Nath, now that you're here, I was just telling all the other goblins that you are a huge historical miniature collector. That's your forte. That's what you love collecting. Now my question is, is this trebuchet historically accurate, would you say? I'll wait for him to reply. Could it be used as a real siege engine? Yes, I thought so. I think they've taken notes from historical siege engines, because to me this looks very usable, like it would actually work. You got the counterbalance weight at the front there, that flicks over, then this thing flicks goblins, as Tal would say, across the room. Now I've got to be careful here because I'm trying to paint parts without touching, so I'm going to freehand this along here without using two hands. So I'll just quickly go along here. It's a lot easier to use two hands to steady yourself, but now and again you have to use just your one hand and try and get the paintbrush in where you possibly can, and just keep a little bit of balance going. And if you take your time, you can often do a nice little job. I'm just going to try and get in between the beams there. That'll do. And the same on this side. Just push that forward a little bit. I'm going to try and get some paint on the rest of that mini just there, onto the metal areas. There we go. That's better. Good. Okay. Now we've got a little bit more of the metal. So I'll just work our way around. And as you can see, just by adding these metal parts now, it's really coming to life now. Yes, I really wouldn't be able to tell you. This is why I was asking you, Nath, because I know you are totally into all this type of what I call historic siege engines. I know you like collecting all your older miniatures. I still think it looks an absolute beast. It's an absolutely beautiful looking miniature. Really nice. Now what I'm going to be doing with this miniature is I am going to be using a 160mm base boss base. These bases are what I buy from Reaper Miniatures, and they just fab for what I use. And we'll be sticking this onto one of those bases, and then I'll be adding some PVA glue, sand, and some grass, and we'll be good to go. I've just got that little piece here to do, and then we can move on to the next part. I might have missed a few little bits, but I'll finish them off screen. So just there. I just want to give you a good idea of how easy and fast it is to get a really nice paint job on this wood. And it also gives you a little bit of experience on how easy it will be to paint our boats and things when we get our boats. And there we are. That's absolutely fab so far. We'll leave that one dry a little bit. Thank you, Nath. Okay, let me show you the base. What I got here is I got two bases. This is the 160mm base. Now you can get packs of four of these bases, and they're 160 mil, and they cost about £11 or £12. But they're perfect for things like this. You can have your siege engine in the middle. That's going to be glued in the middle. What I'm going to do as well, I'm going to make some little air hardening clay balls, and I'll have a little pile of balls just on the side, and then all the grass around. And but we'll stick that onto the base a little bit later. Let's move on to this one again. We've also got a 100mm base, and this will be stuck onto there like so. So it will look absolutely fab. Both of these are going to look gorgeous when they're finished. Absolutely gorgeous. And they're going to really look fab. Okay. So, now for the Ballista, we got these parts here. These are your little bow parts. And what we're going to use is some gunmetal grey on these. Big base. Big miniature. Big pile of balls. Okay, let's have a look. See, just a little bit of this. And once again, all we're going to do, actually I'm going to change my brush a little bit larger, and all we're doing is going over the metal parts with our gunmetal. Just the metal parts on this one. I'll just give it a nice dark metal. Michelle was away to get snacks, was she? Need snacks. Mikey's painting. Need snacks. Need cookies. Yep, so just gunmetal on the metal areas. Oh, fast and simple. Now for the rope, we'll quickly fly through this. Very simple, let's just show you how to paint a little bit of metal. For the rope, I shall be going back to that desert sand colour, and what we'll do is we'll paint the rope, and then that'll have a brown ink wash over the top, and then we could just highlight the rope, and that gives a really nice effect for rope. We've also got some vampire skin, should I say. We can also highlight with vampire skin on the rope. If I got time, I will show you that as well. Like I say, I try to cram as much in my hour as possible to make it exciting. Exciting. There we are. So we've added the metal, and that looks fab. Just that gunmetal adds a lot to this miniature. So what we need to do now is we need to start working on the ropes. Oh dear me. Okay, let me yes. I am thinking. I did put a post up earlier today. I'm not sure if it will definitely happen, but I think it will, because you all know I'm getting my Bones 5 Kickstarter very soon, and I have 10 ships. I have 2 or 3 of every item for my business. So I was thinking I should do another Twitch show on Saturday. So I'm thinking of doing a Twitch show on a Saturday evening between I think it was 8 and 9. So I don't know if you'll all enjoy that, but because I've got so much Reaper miniatures coming through the post, there's going to be so much new things. Yes, thank you, Casper Kenobi. I've got so many new things coming, which means there's so much more content that I can paint and show you on the channel. So I was thinking of doing another hour stream on a Saturday. I don't know if most of you can make it. I don't know if it's going to be popular, but that is my plan. I do hope it will be something you all will want to see. And that's going to start once I get my Kickstarter from Reaper Miniatures. So it could be a couple of weeks yet. Okay, let's get back to what we was doing. That's right, we've done that, we've added this. I'm chatting away and forgetting what I'm doing. Anyway, I need a brush. Okay, so now we're going to start with the ropes. Well, I'll show you on the Ballista. Thank you, Michelle. Now all we're doing is we're painting all the rope in this colour here. This is your desert sand. You can also use skeleton bone or any skeleton type colour. So we're just painting all the ropes first. Hopefully it will dry in time and I can show you the next part. Excuse me. It's absolutely roasting in my workshop today. The sun is setting the other side of my workshop, and it's like a little sauna in here. What I'll do, I'll just show you parts of the rope so we can get on and move on to different areas. So we'll do this part of the rope here just to show you this piece, and we'll let that dry. But I also want to show you, we'll let that one dry and then we'll come back to that. I also want to show you how to paint this bag, because a lot of people get quite confused and stuck because they'll see all these little squares. See all the little squares here? I mean, that's a nightmare. You do not want to paint them individually. So the simplest way to fix that is get your darkest blue. So I got some night sky blue here. I was going to say whiskey blue for some. And this is going to be the inside. This is going to be for the inside of the bag. So we just paint that over. Just quickly get that over there. And this is just a simple way to save you painting everything individual. It's a lot easier, and this is where I love dry brushing, because as you probably know, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let this paint dry, and then what we're going to do is just very lightly dry brush over this. What I need is a little bit of black as well. One second, let me just get some black. What I'm going to do is just add a little bit of black to this. I need it a little bit darker at the bottom. So we're just going to add the black to the bottom of this here. So we've got a nice shade at the bottom of the bag. Oh, should be in camera. So what I've done, I've added some black to that blue just to give the bottom a little bit more darkness. As you can see now, it looks like it's heavy at the bottom, and you can almost see a shadow like there's something inside the bag there. And we do the same on the other side. First of all, we go over that blue. Just add the blue all the way up. And as we get to the bottom of the bag, we just add a little bit of black to the blue, make it darker. And then we can pull that black up and it makes it look like there's something heavy in the bag, and it gives a shade. A bit more black, just a tiny bit more black. There we are. A little bit there, missed a bit. Right, we let that dry. And as you can see the dark blue now, very dark blue going into the lighter blue. Once that's dry, all we do is we give a very light brush, a very light dry brush with our rope colour, which we'll use using the desert sand. That'll pick out all those pieces of the rope, but you'll also get that dark blue and the lighter blue going through the rope, which actually gives a really nice effect. What? Muse's Touch, what have you been doing? Okay. I can't, it's gone off. God. Okay, so these are about dry now. So as you can see, we are flying through all the goodness today. It's absolutely looking awesome stuff. Right, what I've got here is some Agrax Earthshade. Give that a good little spin-a-rooney. Now all we do is we just add a little bit of the ink wash over the parts of the rope here. I'll just show on this the one, and that'll go into all the recesses. Oh, it's still a bit wet. 1 second. See, I'm going too fast. The paint's not drying fast enough for me. But we'll carry on because I'm a nutcase. All we're trying to do is just get that paint in the recess. The brown will do the work for us. And as you can see, it's already highlighted the recesses of the rope. Once that's dry, of course, we can then highlight across the tops of the rope. And we'll do the same on the bottom. There we are. See, okay. Let's go across. Oh wait. There we are. We're just letting that Agrax Earthshade going into the recesses of the brown. And then once that's dry, we highlight again over the top with the same colour. Okay then. So what I'm going to do, what time are we on? Yes, okay. What I'll do, I'll show you the basing of this before I say goodnight. Let me just recap how we done this miniature. Okay, so what I did first was the primer coat was wood stained brown, so we've got a nice dark brown for the whole of the wood. And then we've gone to a lighter brown. In this case it was driftwood brown. And what we did, we've dry brushed the whole of the wood with our brown. And then we went on to a lighter tan. Now this can also be skeleton bone. From most of the companies, they do a skeleton bone colour. And that'll work perfectly well just to finish off the highlighting on all the wood. Then of course we had some mossy green, which is quite a dark green. And we just went over the sides there. And then of course we've gone on to the silver. Now with the silver, that's used for all the metal parts of the miniature. Now what will happen once this is all dry is we shall be adding, in fact I shall do that now, we shall be adding a little bit of nun oil to the silver parts, and that will just age and give some shade to all the metal areas, and that works really well too. So again, just a little brush. And all we need to do is just go over those metal areas. So I'm just going to show you on here, and we just go over the metal, and that black ink wash will make all those rivets pop, and it'll give a nice shade around the rivets. And we do that to all the metal areas, just a little bit. again on the top here. Yeah, and a little bit down here. So every single part that's metal, we just add this black wash, and we just let that dry, and then it just turns into awesomeness. Like so. So just to give you a little example. And as always, I will show you the completed miniature on the YouTube videos, because these will be finished in no time. All I got to do is add the bases and do a little bit more touching up with the rope. And of course, this is still to dry. So what I'll do is I'll show you the sticking onto the base and how I do my base for this one. Very simple. It's just a rock base and a sand base. We just add PVA glue and stick it together like so. And I've got all my lids off. Taking all the lids off. I haven't put them back on. Goodness me, what a mess. Come on. Look at you, you're a messy pig. Right. So all I'm going to do now is I'm using for all these I'm using super glue. This is Max super glue, absolutely fab for all your modeling needs. I do not use gel super glue. Gel super glue actually can go and dry lumpy. So if you get super glue for any of your models, always get the liquid super glue because it works perfectly well. And all we do is going to add a couple of drops along the wood frame. There we are, don't need too much. And then we just center this model and we just have it forward a little bit because I want to have some of those balls at the front, and we'll just push that onto the here. You know I love you all, don't you? Because you're all nutcases. Okay, so that one's stuck on there. And we just stick this one on now as well. But as you can see, it's been a fantastic little show. Very simple to get your little miniatures painted up to a tabletop standard. Very, very simple, and they will look absolutely fab in anybody's game. Right. Now, I have made up a brand new mixture, a brand new basin mixture. I've got. Let me show you my new mixture while these are drying. Go over there, you. Over there. You stay there. And you go over here. Because I want to show the goblins my new sand mix. Right, this is my brand new mix. Now, what I've got in here is I got some very coarse ground sand. I've also got 50-50 mix of ordinary very fine sand. So I've got some of this very fine sand in there too. Now what happens with that is if I use this really fine sand in this mix, it will fill in all the tiny little gaps on the miniature that you sometimes miss when you are doing your basing. Now I've also got a little mixture of a couple of little stones, just tiny little stones. Got some shells in here, but mainly it's very fine sand mixed in with a bit more coarser sand, and it's just, I tried it the other day and it absolutely works perfect. I love it. So I'm going to quickly show you that now, and then I shall say goodnight to everyone. So here we go. I need my little tub now. There's a little tub. And as always, you know I always use my little blister packs to base my miniatures with. I don't like to waste anything. For basing, I use PVA glue from the craft shops. There's no particular brand, no particular super expensive make. Any PVA glue will do. You don't need to spend a fortune on this type of item. I know a lot of model shops and companies, they'll do you these little they'll do you, that's the truth actually. They will sell you a modeling kit, and in that modeling kit you'll get a little 150 milliliter tub of PVA glue. It's don't bother, go to your local craft shop and just grab yourself a big tub of PVA glue. You save yourself a small fortune, believe me. Okie dokie then. All we need now is a big manky brush. I'm going to use this one over here. Use this big brush here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding my PVA glue to the base. Hopefully you can all see what I'm up to. Now, I'm just going to do the outside. I'll do the inside later, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what I'm doing. I'm just going up tight to the actual miniature, making sure I don't touch the super glue, of course. Thank you for subscribing, Shanky Boy. My little cookie monster. Oh, you're 12 months as well. Oh my goodness me. Look at all you hardcore goblins. So we just add all this PVA glue just around the base there. Now I'm going to show you this because I don't know how many times I've seen this, and it can actually ruin your miniature. And I'm going to show you, and anybody who knows me will know why. If you are basing your miniatures, the amount of people I have seen, they can actually paint a really nice miniature. But what happens is, when they come to basing the miniature, they make a complete mess of the actual adding the gravel like I'm doing here. It doesn't matter whether it's from Army Painter, Games Workshop, it doesn't matter what gravel you've got. All you do is you flick the gravel onto the miniature, like so. And then you tap off. And you tap off the gravel. Like so. Now this, when you get to this stage, this is where so many people make the mistake. They leave it like this. Now, maybe you think that's nice, but what it is, it's the rim of the base. It stands out a mile. So whenever you add gravel to the base, always make sure you use your thumb and just remove any excess all the way around. Just go around the whole miniature, removing that excess from the rim of your base. Because I have seen hundreds and hundreds of people doing miniatures, and even if their painting is absolutely fantastic, because the base has not been cleaned nice and neat, for me personally, it actually makes the miniature look unfinished and not very nice. But now, as you can see, I've cleaned that up around the rim. You've got a lovely clean rim. That will dry, get painted, and it will look really, really and look, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, you bastards. Oh, I thought I was going to make a whole stream about losing it. Who said that? Who was it? Who was it? Where are you? Where are you? God, I've lost you now. Yeah, Rod. Oh my god, I can't believe it was Rod. Oh. Anyway. Oh, he's in trouble. Anyway, so there we are. Absolutely gorgeous. As you can see, what I've done now, I've added that gravel. I'll also add it to the in-betweens in the middle as well. Excuse me. But I just wanted to I just wanted to show you the gravel on the base and how easy. Oh my god, I've lost it. Honestly. I just wanted to show you how easy it is to add the gravel and make it look really. I hate you all. to add your lovely gravel. Perfect. So there we are. This is about me, I think. Is there any questions before I say goodnight to anyone? I really do. I really do hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Like I say, these are absolutely gorgeous models from Wizkids games. So, so I do hope you enjoyed the show. So I am going to say goodnight to everybody. I will be back on what day are we on? I'll be back on Monday. And I'll be doing my Reaper Miniatures stream, and we'll move on from there. Thank you all so much for popping in and watching the stream. It really does mean a lot to me, and it always gives me more confidence in every stream to carry on with what I'm doing. Thank you all for the follows and the subs, and yeah, I love you all. So I shall say goodnight, and I shall see you soon.